Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. My name is Casey Bailey and my partner is Grant Rader. Today we are arguing for the affirmative side. The existence of the death penalty in any society raises one underlying question. Have we established our justice system out of a desire for rehabilitation or out of a desire for retribution? As my partner stated in the morning scene, we believe the death penalty should be abolished. The United States is the only country in the Western industrialized world that still uses the death penalty. Since 1990, 30 countries have abolished the death penalty, and among the 47 who continue to execute, a tiny group accounts for the clear majority of the world's executions each year. They are China, Iran, Vietnam, and the United States. For decades, both Republicans and Democrats have competed to be tough on crime, and throughout the 1980s and 90s, executions skyrocketed. More recently, however, public support for the death penalty has declined. A 2010 poll by Lake Research Partners found that a clear majority of the voters, 61%, would choose a punishment other than the death penalty for murder. What follows are 6 key reasons we urge that the death penalty should be abolished. Number 1, the death penalty is racist. The death penalty is applied in a racially biased manner. When it comes to the death penalty, the lives of minorities are valued less than that of whites. African Americans make up only 12% of the U.S. population, but 42% of the prisoners on death row. Although blacks constitute approximately 50% of murder victims each year, 80% of victims in death penalty cases were white and only 14% black. Of the over 18,000 executions that have taken place in this country's history, only 42 involved the white person being punished for killing a black person. In 1972, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that death penalty laws in the United States were unconstitutional, in part because capital punishment was prevalent with racial inequalities. Number 2, the death penalty punishes the poor. Quote, "The reality in the United States today is that representation by a capable legal attorney is a luxury. Source, neither equal nor just, Stephen Bright, president of the Southern Center for Human Rights. If you can afford good legal representation, you most likely won't end up on death row. However, 90% of defendants charged with capital crimes are indigent and cannot afford an experienced criminal defense attorney. They are forced to use inexperienced, underpaid, and overworked lawyers. Many capital trials last less than a week, hardly enough time to present a good defense. The results are predictable. Number 3, the death penalty condemns the innocent to die. Since 1973, 156 people in 25 states have been released from death row with evidence of their innocence. In January of 2003, Illinois Governor George Fine commuted the sentences of all the state's death row prisoners on the grounds that the system was, quote, so flawed that it cannot ensure that the innocent are spared. There can be no doubt that some people who were innocent have been executed. Criminologist Michael Radley notes that in the past 100 years, there were 416 documented cases of innocent persons who have been convicted of murder. A third of them were given the death sentence. Number 4, the death penalty is not a deterrent to violent crime. Scientific studies have consistently failed to demonstrate that execution deter people from committing crime any more than long prison sentences. In 2012, a comprehensive study of research conducted in the United States over 34 years was reviewed by the Committee of American National Academy of Sciences National Review Council. The committee concluded that, quote, research to date on the effect of capital punishment on homicide is not informative about whether capital punishment increases, decreases, or has no effect on homicide rates, end quote. Over the past 10 years, studies have attempted to prove the death penalty deters murder. But as Professor Jeffrey Fagan of the Columbia Law School notes, these studies contain, quote, so many serious flaws and omissions that this work falls well within the unfortunate category of junk science, end quote. More executions, more murders. If anything, credible evidence points in the other direction. One study by Thornton Stelling found that in 3 years, California, 1 execution, Texas, 239 executions, and New York, no executions, all had almost identical patterns of murder rates from year to year, though overall Texas's average was the highest. Number 5, the death penalty is a cruel and unusual punishment. In April 2005, the medical journal The Lancet, a team of medical researchers, found serious flaws in how lethal injections were being administered, causing extreme suffering to the prisoners being executed. A report found that, quote, in 88% of executed prisoners studied, the sedation drugs administered during lethal injection were lower than that required for surgery. And in 43% of cases, drug levels were consistent with awareness, end quote. Tortured to death. On December 13th, 2006, Angel Diaz was a victim of a botched execution so terrible that it led Florida's Republican governor and death penalty enthusiast Jeb Bush to issue an executive order halting all executions in the state. Technicians wrongly inserted the needles 34 minutes. When a second set of needles were finally inserted, the county medical examiner found 12-inch chemical burns inside both of his arms after the execution. Number 6, the death penalty fails to recognize that guilty people have the potential to change, and it denies them an opportunity to rejoin society. Countless prisoners have transformed their lives despite the horrific conditions behind prison bars that they are forced to endure. Executing those individuals denies their ability to participate and contribute to society. Executing a peacemaker. While on death row, Stan Williams, former leader of the notorious Crips gang in Los Angeles, renounced his past and wrote a series of anti-gang books geared towards the youth. Teachers arranged for Stan to address students in their classrooms. He would speak via telephone hookup, urging students to stay clear of the gang life. His message resonated. The youth who listened to him were captivated by his words. His work to curb gang violence was very effective. But instead of recognizing the good work that Stan was doing, he was executed in 2005. Quote, "Many that live deserve death, and some that die deserve life. Can you give that to them? Then do not be too eager to deal out death and judgment." End quote. J.R.R. Tolkien. Conclusion. Recap of the 6 reasons to abolish the death penalty. Number 1, death penalty verdicts have been proven to be racially biased. Number 2, the poor are much more likely to be convicted. Number 3, the death penalty does not deter violent crime. Number 4, the death penalty is a form of cruel and unusual punishment and therefore unconstitutional. Number 5, the death penalty fails to recognize that guilty people have the potential to change. And most importantly, number 6, the death penalty occasionally executes the innocent. When you reflect upon these divisive issues, what is your reaction? Why do you have this reaction? Is it justified? It seems simple enough. Yet this is the process we must go through when we make our opinions on these types of issues. We are not playing a game, we are playing with people's lives. Quote, "I know that in practice the death penalty is more harm than good. So while I hang on to my theoretical views, as I'm sure many of you will, I stand before you and say that society is better off without capital punishment. Life in prison without parole and a maximum security detention facility is a better alternative." End quote. Police Chief James Abbott of West Orange, New Jersey. For these reasons, we urge you to vote for the affirmative.